we're diving straight into something truly fascinating. We're looking at Napoleon Hill's 1937 absolute classic, Think and Grow Rich. I mean, over 100 million copies of this have been sold, right? It was born from decades of intense research, interviewing literally thousands of highly successful people to pull together 13 distinct principles of success. But look, in this explainer, we aren't just going to rattle off a list of facts. No way. We're actually going to map out the exact life cycle of success. We're going to trace the precise journey of how a single fleeting thought can actually, and quite literally, be transformed into real material wealth. Let's get into it. Now, everything we're looking at today rests on this one incredibly powerful premise. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, man can achieve. I know, it almost sounds like magic, doesn't it? But Hill argues that it is entirely practical. Think about it. Every great achievement, every massive fortune ever built, began its life as nothing more than an intangible impulse of thought. It literally all starts in the mind. But the real question is, how do you take something invisible, like a thought, and turn it into something you can actually hold in your hand? Well, our core theme here is simple but deeply profound. Thoughts are things, and they are incredibly powerful things at that. The whole transformation arc we're exploring today is really about how you take an abstract idea, that sudden light bulb moment, and put it through a very specific set of principles to forge it into a tangible fortune. The sources make it super clear. You start with absolutely nothing except the capacity to know exactly what you want, and then you apply these known principles to basically force life to pay you whatever you demand. Okay, let's dive into this with our first major requirement. Section 1, forging a burning desire. So we have to completely upgrade a simple, everyday wish into a total obsession. To really get what a burning desire is, think about this classic historical metaphor. Imagine a great warrior heading into battle against a hugely superior enemy force. He loads his soldiers into boats, sails to the enemy shores, unloads everyone, and then gives this completely shocking order. He tells them to burn the ships. He points to the smoke and says, "Look, we cannot leave these shores alive unless we win." He literally left zero way to retreat. They either had to win or they were going to perish. And guess what? They won. That white-hot, back-to-the-wall intensity, that is the exact state of mind you absolutely need to kickstart this whole wealth-building process. Because let's be honest, there is a massive difference between a lazy hope and a true burning desire. Just look at the story of Edwin Barnes. He didn't just casually wish he could maybe work for Thomas Edison one day. He had this keen, pulsating, definite desire to go into business with a man, not for him, but with him. Now, when Barnes first showed up at Edison's office, he literally looked like a tramp. But Edison noticed this look of pure, unadulterated determination on his face. Barnes obviously didn't become a partner on day one. Actually, he spent 5 long years doing menial work in those offices, basically looking like just another cog in the wheel. But here's the kicker. In his mind, he was already Edison's partner. He staked his entire future on this single driving goal. That is exactly what a burning desire looks like out in the real world. So, how do you actually transmute that desire? Let's move from the abstract to the highly actionable. Section 2, 6 steps to manifest wealth. All right, here are Hill's precise 6 steps to manifest wealth. First, fix in your mind the exact amount of money you want. Don't just say, "I want plenty of money." You have to be specific. Second, determine exactly what you intend to give in return, because there really is no such thing as something for nothing, right? Third, set a definite date for when you'll possess it. Fourth, create a definite plan and begin at once. Whether you're ready or not, just start putting it into action immediately. Fifth, write out a clear, concise statement combining all of those details. And sixth, and honestly this is absolutely crucial, read your written statement aloud twice a day. Let's look a little closer at that 6th step. Why on earth do you need to read it twice daily? Well, when you read your statement aloud, once right before bed and once right after waking up, you have to actually see, feel, and believe yourself already in possession of the money. What you're actually doing here is saturating your subconscious mind. You are essentially programming your mind's vast filing cabinet until you develop what Hill calls a wealth consciousness. Because if you don't see great riches in your imagination first, you're certainly never going to see them in your bank balance. Now, you might have the desire and the plan, but plans are totally useless without the actual power to execute them, right? Which brings us to Section 3, multiplying power through the mastermind. And this brilliantly illustrates how one single person can gather that massive amount of power. The answer is the mastermind. Hill defines this as the harmonious cooperation of 2 or more people working together for a definite purpose. You see, power in this context is really just organized and intelligently directed knowledge. And to optimize that power, you simply cannot rely entirely on yourself. You have to build an alliance based on shared purpose and specialized knowledge. This network of minds provides some seriously incredible benefits, both economically and psychically. Economically, sure, you surround yourself with great advice, counsel, and cooperation. But psychically, it goes way deeper. Hill compares a group of coordinated brains to a set of electric batteries. Think about it. A single battery provides a certain amount of energy, sure, but link multiple batteries together and you generate vastly more power. When minds coordinate in a true spirit of harmony, the increased energy created by that alliance literally becomes available to every single individual brain in the group. You effectively take on the habits and the power of the people you associate with. But we absolutely have to address the ultimate roadblock here, the final boss fight of this explainer, Section 4, Conquering Ghosts of Fear. Because you can know all 13 principles of success inside and out, but these mental barriers can still completely sabotage your progress before you even get off the starting line. Hill identified 6 basic fears that plague basically every human being: the fear of poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death. He actually calls these ghosts because, well, they aren't even real. They are absolutely nothing more than states of mind. Yet these phantoms are incredibly dangerous because they paralyze your initiative, they destroy your imagination, and they breed indecision. And indecision is the absolute seedling of fear. If you allow these ghosts to set up camp in your subconscious, they will absolutely dictate your reality. So, how do you defeat them? You have to build a mental wall of immunity. First up, you have to recognize that you are actually susceptible to these fears. They often transmit super quietly through the subconscious mind. You defeat these ghosts by using your willpower to actively push them out and by deliberately seeking out the company of positive, independent thinkers. Remember the mastermind we just talked about? The people you surround yourself with are either going to feed your fears or they're going to fuel your faith. It's really that simple. So the crucial point is this. Before success comes into any person's life, they are absolutely sure to meet with temporary defeat, and yeah, probably some failure too. The easiest thing in the world to do is just quit. But the sources reveal a pretty fascinating pattern. Success so often arrives just one single step past the exact point where temporary defeat overtakes you. It's like a test. All you have to do is hang in there. Willpower and desire, when you combine them properly, make an absolutely irresistible pair. We've seen how a completely abstract thought becomes this burning desire, how to map it out in 6 practical steps, how to multiply your power with a mastermind, and how to shield yourself from those pesky ghosts of fear. But look, philosophy is completely useless without application, so I want to leave you with this to really think about today. Look closely at your own mindset right now. Which ghost of fear is currently standing in the way of your burning desire? Name it, conquer it, and start transmuting your thoughts into your reality.